What did I see at the theaters this weekend? Well, I didn't see Geostorm. I was gonna see The Snowman, but that Rotten Tomatoes score, when you gotta pay for all the movies that you see, life's too short to watch bad movies. So this weekend, my local Cinemark theater was replaying the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and since that's my favorite horror movie of all time, that's what I'm talking about today. Sorry, Geostorm. And also, quick side note, I'm going to try to keep this review as spoiler-free as I can, but there will be a point when I kind of have to dive into spoilers, and at that point, I'll let you know. But for now, if you haven't seen the movie, enjoy. So, when Nightmare on Elm Street came out in 1984, it was directed by Wes Craven, obviously started the whole Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street series, and it's, pretty standard 80s story. A bunch of kids are being terrorized by this creature in their dreams. They don't know what it is. And if they die in their dreams, then they die in real life. What I actually like about the movie is it looks like you're going to start out with the main character being this girl named Tina, but then part of the way through this movie, there's kind of this handoff, and then Nancy becomes the main character, and you follow her throughout the rest of the movie, her and her friends, and her parents don't believe her, the police don't believe her. And like I said in the intro of this video, Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror movie of all time because it's really good. Let's just start with the big guns here. Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. The guy owns it. In some of the sequels, I haven't seen all of them. I haven't seen 5 or Freddy's Dead. But in the sequels that I've seen, especially in like 3 and 4, they made Freddy a little bit more comical. What I like about this movie is he still has those quips. He's a lot more dark, a lot more menacing, and I really think that helps because they keep him in the shadows more. The makeup on Freddy, when fully exposed out to the sunlight, it looks like latex. But when you keep him in the shadows, it looks like burned skin like it's supposed to. So they had a great blend of quips and horror and scariness with Freddy in this movie. I thought Robert Englund rocked it. And what's really great about this movie is it's very seamless transitions going from dreams to reality. Or even if it isn't, even if it's like a fade to black type thing, the dreams aren't completely like ridiculous. Like they do kind of feel like they're set in the real world, but it does still kind of do that thing that dreams do, or like one time Nancy like runs out of a room and then she lands on the flower bush right outside of her house. Like in a dream, A doesn't always lead to B. Sometimes there's these weird detours, like one time she's in her school and she's going down to the basement and she ends up in Freddy's boiler room. The biggest telltale sign that you're in a dream in this movie is the fact that there's a bunch of fog around when you're in a dream, but it's subtle, and if you don't notice that, I think that the dreams and reality blend really well. And Heather Langenkamp does a really good job as Nancy. Most of these teenagers in these slasher movies are pretty disposable, but there are a couple standouts such as Jamie Lee Curtis in the original Halloween or Heather Langenkamp in Nightmare on Elm Street. She's very likable, and what I like about her is that she's very smart as well. She brings in a couple of her friends to help her out. She's trying to go to the police, but they're not believing her. She's trying to solve this Freddy mystery. At one point, she gets the story of Freddy explained to her, and it's a really creepy scene. Just because of the setting and the people that are there, it's really well done. And I love it at the end when she's going to fight Freddy. She's trying to pull Freddy out of the dream, and she's setting up her house to defend against Freddy. She becomes the original Kevin McAllister. Does this movie have flaws? It does have a couple. The standout performances in this movie are Heather Langenkamp as Nancy, John Saxon as her dad, and Robert Englund as Freddy, obviously. Some of the other teens are okay. Johnny Depp is in the movie as like one of his first acting roles. You can definitely tell it's one of his first acting roles, and he's not terrible in the movie, but there's just a couple scenes when you're like, you got a ways to go, kid. And the rest of my problems with the movie are spoilers, so I can put a big spoiler sign right there. If you haven't seen the movie, probably go watch it at this point, or you can stick around, but either way, you've been warned. Let's talk about the very last scene of this movie when Nancy walks out and it's all sunny and it looks like everything's good, and then she gets in Glenn's car, and it's like Freddy's car and they can't control it and they're driving away, and then Freddy drags the mom through the window. It was a studio mandated ending that the studio put there because they wanted Wes Craven to leave it open for sequels. It does kind of feel like that. It's a weird ending. Obviously it's a dream, but again, if they die in the dream, they die in real life. So do all those kids just die? If so, that kind of sucks because we like Nancy and she finally won against Freddy, but apparently Freddy wins in the end. And I feel like at this point in the series, you're not really rooting for Freddy yet. You're rooting for the people that you're actually supposed to root for. But then Nancy is also in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, so obviously she survived. But I also know Wes Craven hated that ending too, so I'm sure he just decided to like ignore it to make the third one. I don't hate the ending, it's just kind of weird. And then the other little detail with this movie is that Rod's death, the guy that hangs himself with the jail cell, or Freddy hangs him with a blanket. It looks great. The stop motion in it is great, and it's set up because Nancy sees it happening in her dream, or at least she sees Freddy on top of Rod and he's about to do it. But when Rod is getting strangled, it looks like he is definitely awake, and at this point in the movie, Freddy can only attack you in your dreams because Nancy hasn't pulled him out to the real world yet. So while Rod is awake and he's being strangled and Nancy's awake and she's running to the police station, whose dream is this happening in? And this is something I didn't even notice until I watched it this weekend, but it just feels like that scene kind of goes against some of the logic and the rules that have been set up so far. But all my flaws with this movie are really minor because Nightmare on Elm Street is a great movie. It's not like scare. There's definitely downtime, but that downtime isn't boring. They use it to build up the characters. I love Freddy in this movie. I love Nancy. I love the world that's set up. I love the lore behind Freddy. And Freddy is by far my favorite of the old slasher, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Chucky. He's got a lot of personality, and that's fun. So if you haven't seen the original Nightmare on Elm Street, again, it's my favorite horror movie. I would say check it out. It's awesome. But if you guys have seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, you can click subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.